Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Aradhya Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Rajavadhu Vargena Vakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamavalam Prema Kumar Thomaha Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatra Dharana Paraha Anarpita Charinchira Karunayavatirna Kalau Samarpayitum Unnatojvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundara Dyuti Kadamba Sandipita Sada Hridaya Kandare Suratu Vasachi Nandana Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. We welcome all of our YouTube live listeners, our listeners over Facebook Live, and our dear listeners over Zoom. Welcome to all of you to this day 19 of Sri Gauramrita. Before we proceed, we'd like to announce and congratulate the participants of the quiz session from yesterday. We'd like to congratulate Hari Prasad Prabhu, Mother Flavier, Nutan Purohit Mataji, Radha Mataji, and Ranjani Gopika Mataji. Congratulations to all of you for participating in the quiz session from yesterday. So today, in session 19, we will continue to describe the transcendental treasure trove of Sri Nimai's childhood pastimes, the effect of Vishvarupa's sannyas on little Nimai, Jagannath, Mishra, and Sacimata, Nimai's studies eventually being stopped by Sri Jagannath Mishra, then how Nimai convinced Sacimata for continuing his studies, then the esoteric pastimes of Sri Gaura Sundar's sacred thread ceremony, and then we'll conclude the session by describing the most fortunate blessings that one can receive by sincerely listening to these pastimes, the Phalasthuti. So we start with Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Adi Leela Chapter 7, written by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, where he vividly describes in detail the effect that the pastime of Sri Vishvarupa taking sannyas has upon little Nimai, Sri Jagannath Mishra, and Sacimata. This is very, very instructive for us to try to understand the mood of separation in which Sri Jagannath Mishra, Sacimata, and Nimai were. And because the highest mood in this whole creation, material and spiritual creation, the highest mood is the mood of separation. And this tells us how we can be in the mood of separation, how we can be ecstatic in the mood of separation. So now let us visit Sri Nadia. Let us get transported 500 years ago to the most blessed home of Sri Sacimata, where Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Vishwambhar is performing his beautiful childhood pastimes. And while we are listening to this pastimes, let's try to do some anusmarana. Then it'll become meaningful. these pastimes, sometimes they look, oh, they're so heartbreaking. Why are we just keeping on repeating the same pastimes, especially the effect? But that's so that we can do some anusmarana. Anusmarana means we take some emotional experience that we have had personally and try to use that to gain entrance into the moods of these pastimes. Use those emotional experiences, our personal ones, to gain entrance into the mood of all these great personalities, Jagannath, Mishra, how they must be feeling. And that will help us get absorbed in the Leela. And that's the purpose of life, is to get completely absorbed into the hearing, chanting of the Lord's name, qualities, pastimes, and form.
And that is the only way that the pangs, the sufferings of this material world will not touch us. Although we will be continuing to stay in this world, we will not belong to this world. We will belong to the spiritual world because we're trying to keep ourselves connected to that spiritual realm. We are tuning our frequency from the material frequency. We are tuning ourselves. We are fine tuning ourselves so that we can catch the spiritual frequency. And the radar, the antenna that catches the spiritual frequency, is the chanting of the holy names. When we chant very, very sincerely, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When we chant these beautiful holy names, they immediately are raising our antenna so that we can connect to the spiritual realm, and then we can download things from there. We can listen to the pastimes and then gradually immerse ourselves into these pastimes, which will give us the strength to fight what we are facing in our day-to-day lives. That is the only way that we have some solace in this burning material existence. Otherwise, this place is truly a place of misery. It is a place of suffering. So when we know how to mitigate that suffering, when our acharyas have given us such wonderful, beautiful pastimes, the only way we need is access that we need is to just, know the right way to immerse ourselves. So as Prabhu said, let us do anusmarana of these pastimes. Let us try to really transport ourselves into the home of Sacimata, and let us see what they really felt, how they experienced it, what were their emotions. So let us try to do that so that we can get the right mood.
From the day Sri Vishvarupa left the house to become a sannyasi, Vishvambhara, he minimized his restless and mischievous behavior. We heard that yesterday. And Nimai stayed by the side of his mother. He stayed by the side of his father just to mitigate their grief in separation from Vishvarupa. So he reduced staying outside and performing mischief, but reduced it, did not eliminate it. Now he restrained himself from playing, and while studying, he would not leave his books for a moment. And he was so intelligent that after studying every aphorism once, he would just master it. And when questioned on it, he would better everyone else. And because of this extraordinary intelligence, people praised his parents. Sri Jagannath Mishra, Sacimata, they are so truly blessed. And to Jagannath Mishra, they said, Mishra ji, you are truly successful to have such an illustrious son. Mishra Moshai, they say in Bangla, Mahashoy, Mishra Mahashoy. There is not another child in all the three worlds that matches Nimai's superior wisdom. You know what? He will exceed even Brihaspati in this erudition. Because we have seen he can give his own erudite, spontaneous explanations on any point, and he is able to defeat everyone's deceptive arguments. How old or how young was he?
8 or 9 years
Auganda
old.
Leela. He was between 5 to 10, 8 or 9 years old. Then Mother Shachi was very happy to hear her son's wonderful attributes. Whoa, really? To me, I thought he's just a naughty kid. He's not interested in studies. But yes, now he has become serious. Very happy. This son of ours, she actually then revealed she would feel proud. She was also concerned that this son of ours will never remain involved in household life. I have that concern. So Sacimata told, Sri Jagannath Mishra told Sacimata that Vishvarupa studied the scriptures, just as Nimai is doing now. He understood that in this material existence, there is not even a shred of reality. And knowing the essence of all the scriptures, Vishvarup, he rejected this material life. He went away. If Nimai also learns all the scriptures, he will certainly follow the same path.
So this was the fear of Jagannath Mishra. Although Sacimata, she was, feeling happy because all these while she was only listening to complaints about Nimai. But when, people started praising her son, saying that, oh, he's such an erudite scholar, he's so good, he memorizes things so beautifully, he's so good in grammar, he's so wonderful, exceptional child. The mind of the mother, Sacimata, with the heart of the mother was so pacified. She was feeling, oh, now finally my child, his abilities are being recognized. So she was feeling very happy for Jagannath Mishra. He didn't like that praise, that people were praising little Nimai. Jagannath Mishra did not like it. And he was thinking in his mind, he was telling Sacimata that, look, that same studies, what Vishvarup did, what happened to our son by studying, he left home. And now Nimai is doing the same thing. So definitely, Nimai said, Jagannath Mishra said that let's not make him do his studies. He will not do his studies. Let him become an illiterate. I don't care. I will maintain him, but he is not going to go to school. And Sacimata said, but Prabhu, if you stop him going from school, then how will he maintain himself if he remains illiterate? Moreover, see the heart of the mother. The mother is thinking that moreover, who will give their daughter to an illiterate person in marriage? How will my beautiful son get married? So, and you are proposing that you should not send Nimai to school, then how will he get married? How will he, maintain his livelihood if he doesn't have a proper education?
So then Jagannath Mishra replied, surely you must be a very, very innocent, naive daughter of a Brahmin. Because you should know Lord Krishna is everyone's protector. He has created everything. He'll give and take whatever is required. And the entire material creation is maintained by the Lord of the universe, Krishna. Who has misinformed you that mere materialistic knowledge can help maintain anything? Krishna is in control of everything. He even designed the results of matching of brides and grooms. Both the learned groom as well as the illiterate groom are given brides. Isn't it true? So it's not that if someone is really learned, only they get good brides or good grooms. So Krishna is omnipotent. He maintains everyone, not our material knowledge. And when one has never worshipped the lotus feet of Lord Govinda, how is it possible to live in comfortable opulence and meet death in a blissful state? Because even if he gets opulence, he'll be so much enamored by it that at the time of death, he'll be miserable, at least. And and that's why it's said that if one loses wealth, he's not lost anything because it'll come back. One loses health, he's lost something, because even if you have the greatest wealth but you don't have health, how can you really enjoy that wealth? There are so many people, they have big mansions where they live, but their minds are totally miserable because of their relationships are not good, and because their health, mental and physical health, is not good, and they cannot eat anything. So if health is gone, something is gone. But if character is lost, everything is lost. So character, devotional, is built by devotional service. And he was saying, when one has never worshipped the lotus feet of Lord Govinda, has not built his spiritual character, how is it possible to live in a comfortable opulence? A person may possess sufficient learning, high birth, wealth, but without the mercy of Lord Krishna, he can never be delivered from the misery of material life. So even if someone has great wealth, one's future is determined only by Krishna's desire. Don't bother yourself thinking about your son's maintenance. If he does not go to school, it's not the end of the world. I can assure you, Krishna will take care of him. As long as there is life in his body, Nimai will not feel even the slightest sign of suffering.
So he said, Jagannath Mishra said, I will maintain my son. Don't think that as long as I have life in my body, I will maintain our son. So don't be worried. I am telling you, there's no need for Nimai to study. Let my son remain in my house as an illiterate. So this was the effect that Vishvarup's sannyas had on Jagannath Mishra. He got so worried, so restless, that just like how Vishvarup had left home, that if Nimai also continues to study, then he will also leave home. This is the epitome of love that Jagannath Mishra and Sacimata felt for Nimai. So much love that they're ready to say that, okay, let my son be an illiterate. I don't care. And then, having made this decision, Jagannath Mishra called Nimai and said, Nimai, Shono, come here, Baba, come, Nimai. I promise you, Nimai, that from today you are relieved of all your studies. You may do whatever you want, whatever you desire, my son, I am ready to give for you. Just you, only thing you do is just stay in the house and be fully satisfied. Don't go anywhere. Just don't go anywhere. This was the request, the humble, heartfelt plea of Jagannath Mishra to little Nimai. And then Nimai understood that this is the end of the studies, and as the upholder of religious principles, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu was very obedient to his father's instruction, and he stopped attending his school. He stopped going to school. He was very, very obedient, but at the same time, Nimai did not like it that he was not going to school. But the Lord was very, very disappointed that why I'm not able to go to school. So then his mischief started extremely increasing again. So there was a small time, a little brief moment where his naughtiness had reduced. But now, after, Jagannath Mishra stopped him from going to school, he said, okay, you're stopping me from going to school. I will be an illiterate fool. That's what you all want? Okay, fine. Now see what I will do. So he started increasing his naughtiness to totally a different level. He would, associate with the young boys of his age, and he would stay outside from his house till even after sunset. In those days, to stay outside the house after sundown was considered very inauspicious. Before sunset, everyone was supposed to come back to the house. So Nimai, he said, no, I'm not coming back. You go, I'm not coming. He would continue playing, he would continue just doing mischief after mischief. So even after dark, Nimai would stay away from home. And the whole evening, he performed different activities, different pastimes with the young other boys of his age. And they would just torture, and they would do lot of mischief with the neighbors, with the other people of Nadia. Nimai was doing all kinds of mischief going around the town of Nadia.
And then one day, Jagannath Mishra was called for some duty, and Nimai was also upset that he is not allowed to study. Why? So he enacted a wonderful pastime. And he said, there were some pots that were used for cooking Lord Vishnu's offerings, and they were kept outside in a pile for cleaning. And Nimai decided to sit on top of those contaminated pots. Now, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur says, kindly listen with undivided attention this confidential incident. Nimai sitting on the pile of contaminated pots as if it was a royal throne. Sri Gaura Sundar glanced around with a smile playing on his lips. And in that pile of contaminated pots, his golden complexion was spotted by the black suit. So there was all black all over him, his golden complexion. And he looked just like a golden doll who's smeared by this dark, sweet-smelling sandalwood and aguru paste. And so then several of friends of Nimai went to Sacimata, informed her, Nimai, Sacimata, look what Nimai is doing. He's sitting on top of contaminated pots, muchi, nogara. And so Sacimata was shocked. What? She came outside. She saw him. My dear child, Nimai, this is not a proper place to sit. Don't you know? Don't you have the discrimination to judge between clean and unclean things? You're almost 10 years old. Don't you know that one must bathe after touching unclean pots? In this 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 9 to 10, why can't you understand these things? So Nimai said, oh, really? You want me to understand these things? You don't allow me to study. Then how do you expect me to know the differences between clean, unclean? I'm just an illiterate Brahmin. Let me do whatever I want. I'm a fool, uneducated fool. I don't have, how am I supposed to know what is clean, what is unclean? I see everything as one because there's no discrimination. And my vision is non-dual. So then after his speech, Nimai, he was smiling and sitting on top of his throne of unclean pots.
So then Sacimata said, now that you've sat in this dirty place, Nimai, how are you going to clean yourself? And then Vishwambhar said, Mago means, my dear mother, go means don't go away. In Bengali, it's a way of addressing with a very sweet gesture, very sweet way to, when you say, you add the word go, it's like, oh, Mago means, oh, my dear mother, like that. So that way, Nimai said, oh, Mago, you have a childlike mentality. You say I am a child, but you have a childlike mentality. I am never situated in any contaminated place. Wherever I am, that place becomes the most sanctified. Even Ganga Devi and all other pilgrimages, they come and reside there. Do you know that? I am supremely, absolutely pure. When you just touch me, how can any contamination remain? Nimai was speaking the absolute truth, and Sacimata was saying, Hi, Nimai, Orokum, bolo na. Don't say like this, Nimai. And then Nimai continued, No. Listen more. I'm not done yet. Listen more. I have some more to say. In reality, these pots are not in the least contaminated because you have cooked for Lord Vishnu in these pots. So Lord Vishnu's cooking pots can never be contaminated. And in fact, they can purify anything. Any place can be purified simply by their touch. Similarly, I will not go and sit in any kind of degraded place because as soon as I go there, degraded place becomes the most highest, the most sanctified of all places. So how can I become any kind of contaminated? Mago, you don't know anything, Ma. You just don't know anything. You're acting like a child. I can never be contaminated.
And then Nimai smiled again. And because of his influence of the illusory potency, no one could fathom his words. Then they all smiled condescendingly that, Nimai, your small speech, what are you speaking? And Sacimata said, okay, come down. Come down, I'll take you for a bath. Let's go for bath. But Nimai would not come down. He would not leave the pot. So Sacimata said, come quickly before your father comes home.
Baba Nimai. Like that was the ultimate, at that time, Sacimata, when she was telling Nimai that your father is coming. Sacimata was actually in her heart, she was crying because she was remembering her elder son Vishvarupa. Because at such times when Nimai would not listen to her and Nimai would not listen to even Jagannath Mishra, the only personality he would listen to was Vishvarupa. So Sacimata was missing Vishvarupa so much. And then Sacimata just controlled her tears somehow. And she just said, Nimai, Baba Ashpikintu, Baba will come just now. And he'll come and he'll again scold you. Do you want that? No. So come with me.
So then Nimai was saying, I don't care. If you don't permit me to study, I will not move from the spot. Let Baba come, no problem. I'm telling you very clearly. So then all the neighbors, they were turning to Sacimata and said, why? Your son wants to study and you are not letting him study. Our children, we have to force them to go to school. And he wants to study. Why are you not letting him continue the education? So many people, they tutor their sons with so much care. You are fortunate that your son, this young boy, he's deciding to study on his own accord. And then all of the neighbors turned to Nimai and said, come, if from today you're not allowed to study, then you should continue your work of destruction just like this.
And we'll approve it.
Yes.
We are also on your side, Nimai. If anything happens, if Jagannath Mishra, once Baba returns, if they don't allow you to go to school, you come to me. We will destroy properties because you should go to school. It is a very proper demand you are making.
Nimai is sitting on the throne of pots looking at his mother. Did you listen to them? This is what's going to happen. And then all the fortunate souls who saw him on this throne saw him floated in an ocean of absolute bliss. And the mother herself then had to climb on the pots and bring the child down. All the while, Lord Gaura Chandra, he was looking like a beautiful blue sapphire. And he continued to smile sweetly as even as he was pulled down.
So the reason why it is said here by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur that Nimai is looking like a blue sapphire. Nimai is the golden child. Why would he look like a blue sapphire? Because that particular day, he was actually wearing a dhoti, which was blue in color. Sacimata had put a silk dhoti, which was blue in color for him. And because Nimai was, this golden, beautiful personality, the blue color was shining from his, onto reflecting. The blue color was beautifully reflecting on his golden body. So therefore it was giving out a beautiful bluish hue. And that's why Vrindavan Das Thakur explains that Nimai, on this day especially, he was looking like a blue sapphire. And if you look at the Leela today that we have put on the YouTube poster, it is this Leela of Shachimata coming and talking to Nimai, and Nimai is in that blue dhoti, confirming the words of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur.
So then Mother Shachi, she took Nimai for a bath, and Jagannath Mishra, he returned. Mother Shachi told the entire story to Jagannath Mishra and said, you know what? Our son is very sorrowful. He's sorry that he's not allowed to study. And even the neighbors, they came to petition Jagannath Mishra and said, dear Mishra, we know you are a high-minded soul. Who gave you this advice to forbid your son to continue his education? Whatever Lord Krishna desires, it will come true. So discard your worries. If your son has to take sannyas, he can take even without study. In fact, there is more chances. And that because he does not discriminate. And anyone can tell him anything and he'll just follow. But if he goes to study, he'll know the scriptures. And if that is his destiny, that he has to take sannyas, you cannot stop it by stopping him from studying. In fact, you are truly fortunate that he wants to learn of his own volition. So choose an auspicious day. You should initiate your son with the sacred Brahman thread, like the Poite ceremony, and begin his studies again properly. So Jagannath Mishra said, well, to his neighbors and friends, well, you are my dearest friends. Yeah, whatever you say, I must consent to that. I admit I was feeling that if he studies, then he'll follow the footsteps of his elder brother. And if he does that, I cannot live anymore. And so young Nimai's activities, they were so superhuman. Everyone saw all these wonderful pastimes with so much amazement. They could never understand their deep mystery. Then Nimai, who is the supreme actor of Vaikuntha,
Hari Hari.
Golokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirtana, frolicked mischievously in his own courtyard in his father's permission. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu joyfully
Hari
resumed his studies.
Hari Hari.
And here, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, so far, he was referring to him as Vishvambhar, as Shachinandan, as Nimai, or sometimes even in so many different names, Gaura Sundar, Gaura Chandra. But here he uses Sri Chaitanya, joyfully resumed his studies, because of his studies, now he will meet his spiritual master later and become Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So
Srila Lochan Das Thakur, in his Chaitanya Mangala, very beautifully describes the pastime of Sri Vishvambhar's sacred thread ceremony, for Nimai, because he was the son of Jagannath Mishra, a Brahmana. So in Brahmanical culture, there is the thread, sacred thread ceremony, the Brahman ceremony, which is called as, in Bengali, it's called as Puite ceremony. The Brahman thread is called as Puite. So Gaura Sundara's pastimes, Lochan Das Thakur says, continually flooded the city of Nadia with an ocean of bliss. The whole universe couldn't contain the happiness and fortune of Sri Jagannath Mishra and Sacimata, and nor can anyone describe the great fortune of these two wonderful souls. One day, when Jagannath Mishra's little Nimai turned 9 years of age, it is said. 9 years of age, Jagannath Mishra decided to award him the sacred thread. So calling an astrologer, he and his wife picked out auspicious day for Vishvambhar's Brahmanical initiation. And Jagannath Mishra, he invited all the relatives and friends and asked for their blessings. He also invited Sri Advaita Acharya, the well-known scholar and the expert in all Vedic rituals. Jagannath Mishra distributed betel nuts, sandalwood paste, and flower garlands to all the Brahmins who came to visit, and the village ladies. They exchanged vermilion, kumkum. They put kumkum on each other, and Sacimata gave them different articles as gifts. And at dusk, when there was the blowing of the conch shells, there was ululating going on, and ecstasies of Hari Hari in the air. The Adivas ceremony, the day before, the Adivas ceremony at dusk was performed. Adivas means it is for the protection of the Yajman of the ceremony. Means Nimai's Brahman thread was going to happen the next day. So he is the main, Yajman means the main person of the ceremony, the main personality. So, his Adivas was done for the protection. It is done for the protection of the Yajman.
At the same time, it is done to prepare our consciousness for the auspicious day. So tomorrow is the next auspicious day. Rather than going cold into the auspicious day, in our mind, the previous day is Adivas ceremony. So everyone is warmed up and their minds, rather than focusing on so many different things, are focusing on this particular ceremony, which is going to happen tomorrow. Therefore, it is said, if we want to wake up in the morning for Mangalarti, the preparation is, we should not do the preparation in the morning to wake up. We should prepare in the night. The previous night is the preparation, the adivas of waking up for Mangalarti, for the auspicious Mangalarti at 4:30 a.m. has to happen. We must visualize how we are going to wake up in the morning when the alarm rings, how I'm going to wake up immediately, and prepare our mind in this way. Pray to the Lord, please wake me up. Prepare to sleep early so that we can wake up on time, fresh. And so that's why, similarly, when the Adivas of, even when, say, Gaur Purnima is there, and the day previous to it is Adivas, so that we can prepare our consciousness to properly welcome the Lord on the next day.
Haribo. So therefore, at this Adivas ceremony, different Brahmanas, they chanted beautiful mantras, and the Brahmanas gave their blessings to little Vishvarupa according to the different Shastric rules and regulations. And then early the next morning, Jagannath Mishra, he performed the Nandi Mukha ceremony. Nandi Mukha ceremony is a ceremony where obsequies are done before an auspicious event like marriage, or this Brahman thread ceremony. It's just a small ritual which is done before an auspicious ceremony. And also the Shraddha ceremony was done, to offer pinda to the previous forefathers. And after washing the feet of the Brahmanas, Jagannath Mishra started the ceremony at the exact muhurta. First, Sacimata, along with the local ladies, they rubbed, turmeric oil all over Gaura Sundara's body. Then she rubbed amaliki oil in his hair and bathed her son with Ganges water. And while doing this, Sacimata became so pleased and overwhelmed. She just lost herself in an ocean of bliss when she was bathing Nimai. Mridangas, conch shell, kartals, all musical instruments, they were, playing at the same time, and a beautiful celestial sound as it was, filling the home of Jagannath Mishra and Sacimata. The thunderous vibrations of dhak. You know what dhak is? It's like a big wooden drum. Those of it's very traditional in Bengal. They during Durga Puja also they put this. They play this dhak. Like that. It's a very big wooden thing, and then they keep it on the side, and there are these dhakwalas. They come and play the dhak like this, and so this sound is of the dhak is heard from miles together actually, and Sachimata's house was filling with the sound of these dhaks, and hearts were swaying to the sound of the sweet shehnai also, of venas, of flutes, of pakwajas, wooden drums. They all were resounding harmoniously. Dancers and singers were singing when Vishwambhar's head was being shaved. You know, and then sandalwood, paste, and garlands adorned his golden limbs. The Brahmanas chanted Vedic hymns when Vishwambhar sat in the fire sacrifice. When he sat in the sacrificial arena, they dressed Vishwambhar in saffron clothes, and he was given the Brahman thread. He was awarded the Brahman thread.
And Vishwambhara was looking so beautiful. Like his beauty was even Cupid was feeling shy. And then Jagannath Mishra whispered the Gayatri mantra into the ear of his son. This is the second initiation. When Nimai took a stick in his hands, it struck fear in the heart of sin personified.
Because during the thread ceremony, the boys, the young boys, according to Brahminical culture, they are given, the saffron dress that they wear, and a stick is also given saying that this is their brahmacharya stick. So when Nimai held that stick, it was as if, he was striking fear in the heart of sin personified, that he was going to beat out the sin from everyone's words.
Then, after this ceremony, Vishwambhara, he begged alms as a brahmachari, and especially as a custom of one in the sannyasa ashram. So this was the description in Sri Chaitanya Mangal. And Chaitanya Bhagavat, chapter 8, describes again the same Sri Vishwambhar sacred thread ceremony also in detail, and says that when Gauranga Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Mishra's house, his identity was wrapped in secrecy. No one could recognize him. He would play so many games, as many boys, that many games he would play. And then all these wonderful pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, they are actually revealed in the Vedic scriptures, and all the fortunate souls hear this. And in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually was absorbed in the mood of a child, and he passed so many years. And when the time arrived for him to accept the sacred thread, Jagannath Mishra decided to initiate his son with the sacred Brahmana thread, and he called his friends to the house for occasion. So in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, it does not go in so much detail as in Chaitanya Mangal as to why the ceremony happened, the pastime of Nimai on the pots, and then all the neighbors petitioning to Jagannath Mishra. Here, it's very, very in short, it's just explaining. And he said that in that ceremony, the ladies, they started ululating in and conch shells are blown at the same time. So this ululation is in glorification and to ward off evil energies. This ululating is done, especially in Bengal. So this is explained in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Ladies ululated in the glorification. They sang about these different extraordinary qualities of Lord Krishna. And the musicians, they played on different instruments, the mridanga, shehnai, the flute, and these brahmanas, they chanted these different Vedic hymns. And all the orators, they offered verses in glorification. And Sachi Devi's house, it was just flooded with great joy, as if joy personified had made its appearance there. And all the planets were favorably positioned when Lord Gaura Sundar, he was to accept the sacred thread. And the month, the day, the moment, they were all auspicious when Lord Gauranga, Sri Hari, accepted the sacred thread.
The planets, as if they came and positioned themselves in the perfect order because they wanted to salute the Supreme Lord when he is going for such an auspicious ceremony. So the planets wanted to be in the perfect alignment so that they can offer their salute and their respects to the Supreme Personality of Godhead while he accepts this Brahman thread upon him.
So this sacred thread adorning this beautiful form of the Lord, it was an enchanting sight. And Ananta Shesh, he must have assumed a thread to form, to circle the body of his beloved Lord. There's even a pastime of Sri Radha Madhava of Sri Mayapur Dham, where Madhava had the Brahmin thread engraved in him.
Actually, this pastime is a very special pastime, very, very beautiful pastime, which was revealed to us by His Grace Jananivas Prabhu. When Sri Radha Madhava were being carved in Jaipur, at that time, Srila Prabhupada, some pictures were being sent to Srila Prabhupada, and those days there was no phones, so it used to take time for them to reach Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada said, no, the deities need to be more finely polished. Some more polish needs to be done. Some more polish needs to be done. So then the carvers, they were polishing the deities. They were polishing, especially Madhava, to bring out that shiny luster in, the black shiny luster in him. Madhava was being polished more and more and more and more. And two miraculous things happened when he was being polished. The first was that a tilak mark appeared on his forehead. So Srimati Radharani, because the tilaka that Vaishnavas wear, it is actually a symbol of Srimati Radharani. That Srimati Radharani makes her appearance through the tilak. The tilak is a representation of Srimati Radharani herself. So therefore, the tilak appeared on Madhava's forehead. That was the first thing to appear. The second thing that appeared, and it was a natural marking, like a white marking that came about. And the second thing that appeared was his Brahman thread across his chest appeared. So, in Mangalarti, during Mangalarti, if you ever happen to be in Sri Mayapur Dham, it's very difficult to see this over the camera on Mayapur TV. But if you happen to be in Sri Mayapur Dham, and especially during Mangalarti Darshan, if Madhava is not, during the summertime when he does not wear a shirt, you can very visibly see a white Brahman thread mark. From here to here, you can see it. And those of us who had the fortune of going on the altar and seeing Madhava, we can very easily see, very distinctly see that the mark of the Brahman thread is there. And this Brahman thread on the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is actually an expansion of Ananta Shesh himself. That Ananta Shesh actually is manifesting as the Brahman thread and lying down on the chest of the Lord also. So this is a very beautiful, very, very beautiful analogy that Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur has said. But he has explained this as a very, very confidential and an esoteric subject matter of Nimai accepting this Brahman thread and Ananta Shesh manifesting on his chest as the Brahman thread.
So then the Supreme Lord Gaurachandra, he manifested his Vamana form. And whoever saw that wonderful pastime, he felt unbounded joy. And people saw like a wonderful spiritual aura that's emanating from the Lord, with a stick in his hand, cloth bag hanging from his shoulder for his japa beads. Sri Gaur Sundar, he was begging to door to the house of devotees, and every man, according to their ability, they were able to place alms in Nimai's bag. They felt great satisfaction. And the ladies also smiled. They dropped alms in the bag. Saraswati Devi, Parvati Devi, and all the dedicated wives of the great sages, they appeared on the scene.
And when they appeared, they disguised themselves as the wife of the Brahmanis so that they can offer charity to Nimai during this ceremony. Because after accepting the brahmacharya of, accepting the Brahman thread, the boys are supposed to go out begging, so that they're begging for their guru. So then when they just spread Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi. So then the mothers, they come and give bhiksha, they give alms to Nimai. So, Sachi Devi, Parvati Devi, Sachi Devi, the wife of Indra, Saraswati Devi, Parvati Devi, all the wonderful wives of the rishis, the great sages, Atri, Anusuya Devi, and all of them, they had all come disguised as Brahmanis so that they could give alms to the beautiful Brahmana boy Nimai. And seeing Nimai's beautiful, radiant Vamana form, everyone smiled with satisfaction and gave their alms. Why is Nimai here compared to the golden child or the golden form of Vamana? Because Vamana, the dwarf boy, Nimai, he was also golden. And Vamana Dev, he was also the golden child. He was exactly like that. He was, shaved up and very beautiful, so cute, like a golden doll he was. And, so just when we see Nimai as, completely shaved up as this little 9-year-old boy, he appeared exactly like Vamana Dev. So everyone was feeling bliss. Everyone in the city of Nadia, they were saying, "Oh, this is our Vamana Dev. Our Vamana has come. Our Vamana has come." So they were all feeling so much bliss just by looking at the golden form of Sri Gaura Sundara.
So the falastuti of being absorbed in these pastimes and to hear them is that just by hearing this pastime, devotional service to Lord Krishna is perfected if we sincerely hear this pastime. So therefore, all glories to Sri Gaura Sundar's, Gaura Chandra's beautiful form. And we pray and beg for blessings, all of us, to Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, please place those lotus feet in the throne of my heart. The Ranga Pai, which means your colored lotus feet with alta. Place it on our heart. And anyone who hears this wonderful narration of Lord Vishvambhara accepting the sacred thread will attain the supreme shelter of Sri Chaitanya Chandra's lotus feet.
Hari 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 Bol.
Ekhane rahila grantha Amrita lahari Badan bhare ekbar Bolo Hari Hari
Hari Hari
Hari.
Hari Hari. So today again we will dedicate our kirtan for the well-being of Anjali's family, her mother, and today is also the birthday of Mridvika, her daughter. So Anjali, wishing Mridvika a very, very happy birthday. And this kirtan is also dedicated for your family's well-being. And we also are singing this kirtan, dedicating it for the well-being of Mother Flavier's family and for all families around the world who may be undergoing any kind of difficulties. We dedicate this kirtan to them. Haribo.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki,
Jai,
Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki,
Jai.
Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki.
Hari Bol, Jai, Hari Hari Bol. So before we open up the lines, let us announce the quiz session for today.
First, what is meant by Anusmarana and what is the benefit of doing it? Second, why did Jagannath, Mishra, and Mother Shachi become worried when they were praising Nimai?
Third, why would Nimai how would Nimai affectionately address his mother? Fourth, why did Nimai sit on the used muchi pot?
Fifth, why is Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur describing Lord Nimai as blue sapphire when he's actually golden in complexion? Sixth, what is the purpose of Adivas Ceremony?
Seventh, how old was Nimai when he received the sacred thread? Eighth, who manifested as the Brahman thread? And what form did Nimai manifest after accepting the Brahman thread?
Ninth, what is the falastuti of hearing these pastimes?
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Divyangi and Prem Vikas Prabhu, for these wonderful quiz questions. So grateful to you. So now let's open the lines. Garima.
Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam, Alaisha Prabhupada and Gurudev. I really loved the class a lot and it was very amazing, and how Nimai, like how he cut down his mischiefs, and then when Jagannath Mishra stopped him from studies, he started the mischiefs again. And it was so funny how Nimai was telling Sachi Devi when he was on the pot, he was telling Sachi Devi all the absolute truth and all those knowledge and everything. It was just funny to me that he was telling in his like in his own way and everything. And he's sitting and he was saying that he was sitting on the pot just like he was sitting on the throne. And that was very like nice. And I was thinking, imagining like he actually sitting on on like a throne like Nimai.
Haribo.
I really love those parts, and that was my favorite parts of all the class. I love the whole class, but those were my favorite. And
Thank you.
I also love the Madhav, how the numerical word. And no, you were saying that about the tilak, that no, that is Radharani. Actually, I asked that no, like why does Radharani not wear a tilak? I was asking it to my Guru Maharaj, and he was saying that no, like the tilak is Radharani, which Krishna wears. Yeah, so I so I really love that part. Also, I have one question that it's kind of funny, like how did the Brahman thread like actually appear on Madhav?
How did it appear? That's the miracle. That is the manifestation of Ananta Shesh on Madhava, that these deities, they are not just made of marble, they are actually manifestation of Krishna, So this is further proof to that.
Yeah, I understand that. I did this Sachi Devi like swinging Nimai upside down, like when Nimai was very little.
That's perfect, Garima. That's so cute. That's exactly how Nimai would be swung like this. And how would Nimai
But he
look?
was a little smaller than what's shown here. Otherwise, his head would.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's perfect. Very nice. Very beautiful. Just by hearing, you are manifesting all these drawings. That means the
Very
Lord
nice.
is manifesting in your heart, and this is a manifestation of your heart.
It's all by your mercy.
You are exceptionally dear to us, Garima. We love you so much, beta.
I love you too.
Thank you, Vidya. Haribol.
Haribol.
Mataji Prabhuji, I have a question. Can I
Yes,
ask?
yes, please, Champakalata. Yes.
This Brahman thread ceremony, I always had this question. I have two questions. One, my Gaunita deities do not have Brahman thread. So I don't know, is it like, do we put it on deities? And if we do, where do we get it? And what is the procedure? I have no idea. Both the Gaunita deities said do not have it.
Even my Gaunitai.
Okay. Yeah, it's nice to have Brahman thread on the deities. Actually, when I started worshipping our deities, I was worshipping our Jagannath even before my marriage. And then when we got Gaurnitai, after 5 years of worshipping our Gaurnitai, then we decided to do their, Brahman thread ceremony. So what we did was Jananivas Prabhu taught us that he just said, make 3 folds of any kind of thread, like the thick thread that we use for making garlands. You can use that thread, and you can just put 3 not 3 circles with this size, based on the size of your deities, and then just put a knot, just put a knot, and that you can purify and use as Brahman thread. You can do that. And there's, for putting on, for home deities, for especially just for home deities, when we do pran pratishtha, when the deities are installed at the temple, then at the pran pratishtha time, when the deities are first installed, at that time only the Brahman thread and everything is done for the temple deities. But for home deities, you could just do it as a, sweet ceremony, just at home with the kids, and you can say, oh, this is our thread ceremony for our deities, and you can just do that way. That's perfectly fine.
So when you say ceremony, means offer some nice bhogas and then do some aarti. And...
just do the aarti, kirtan, that's all.
So can I offer on Nityananda Trayodasi since it is coming up?
Very nice. Yes, please do. Please do.
Okay. And when you said purify, means just put Ganga Jal, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay. And do we replace it on and off? Or
those who are Brahmin initiated, they can, put their ring finger in there and chant the Brahma Gayatri mantra to purify the water. But otherwise,
just Ganga water and the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is fine. And the replacing, if you can do it, like even in the temples, we replace the deities' Brahman threads every festival, like Gaur Purnima, Ram Navami, Nrsimha Chaturdashi. You can do that. Some temples, they do it once a month on Ekadashi, once every Ekadashi. So you can choose to do however you like.
And what do we do with the older thread?
Huh?
And what do we do with the older thread?
That one is to be buried, and you can just put under the tulasi plant. That's how Srila Prabhupada taught.
Okay. Thank you so much. Maybe I'll come back again for a question if somebody else has question. I don't want to take up so much time. Thank you.
Thank you, Champaka. Haribol.
Haribol.
Thank you so much.
Haribol. I think Nikunja Leela Mataji was there for a question. Not sure if she's there or.
Hare Krishna Mataji. This is Mukund. Dhanavad Pranam. Mataji, Mataji and Prabhuji, my question was answered from what Garima was saying, that she had asked her Guru Maharaj of why does Radharani not wear the tilak, and that was my question, and that got answered.
Wonderful, wonderful, beta. Yeah, she is the personification of tilak. That's why she doesn't need to wear.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, beta. Thank you.
And thank you for the very beautiful lecture, Mataji and Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Oh, thank you, Mukunda. Haribol. Thank you, beta.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, beta. Hare Krishna. Hare Prasad, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam. All glories goes to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Hare Krishna. It was very beautiful today and a wonderful narration I heard. And the bhajan also very, very divine. Mataji and Prabhuji, you sang very well. I have only one question, Mataji. During Sacred Third Ceremony, whether Sacimata's father Nilambra Chakravarti also participated, or he came, or
It's not mentioned.
okay, okay,
It's not mentioned specifically.
But he would have come.
He would have, but specifically it's not mentioned. His name is not there. So
okay,
whether
okay,
he's even there by that time or he had left his body, we are not sure. So we don't know.
no
Neither of
problem.
these it's mentioned.
Yeah.
Neither in Chaitanya Mangal nor in Chaitanya Bhagavat his name is mentioned.
Yeah, yeah. Even he's an astrologer, you told, right, in that, yeah. When you start I thought to ask this question because he was finding an astrologer to celebrate this ceremony, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So if he would have been present, then his name would have definitely been mentioned. But
Yeah. No problem, Mataji. Clear. It is clear. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Hare Krishna.
Harini Sevika Mataji.
Harini Sevika Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavad Pranam Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji and Mataji.
Hare
So
Krishna.
wonderful class Mataji today. And your ululation really wonderful to hear, and talking in Bengali words in between also is very nice to hear, Mataji. And we are taking us to that spot we are imagining. So that this is the Sacimata will be telling like this, calling Nimai like that. Wonderful section, Mataji. I have one question is why this sannyasi danda is given, Mataji? What is the significance of that? Why they are giving the stick to while taking sannyas? Because all our Guru Maharaj also they are carrying that. So I used to wonder what's the significance of that. Yeah,
Very nice
thank you,
question.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Very
Hare
nice
Krishna.
question. Prabhu, would you like to answer that?
Yeah. So the sannyas danda has actually it's in a cloth, and there are 3 sticks inside it actually. And if you see, it comes out on top there are 3 sticks also that emerge. So that is the sannyasa danda, which says the 3 sticks signify mind, body, and words. All the 3 are being offered to the Lord. So whenever the sannyasis, they take the stick, indicating that my mind, body, and words are all dedicated to Krishna. And when they pay obeisances, they first bow down the stick, meaning their mind, body, and words are paying obeisances, and then they pay obeisances. So kaya, manasa, vacha is all these 3 offered to Krishna. So there are actually 3 dandas within one, tied in as one, and then a cloth on top of it. But this is Vaishnava sannyasis. For Mayavadi sannyasis, they call Ek Dandi sannyasi. That's why Vaishnava sannyasis are called Tridandi sannyasis. Tridandi. Tridandi Goswami. And Mayavadis, they take one stick, which is saying, I'm one with the Lord. Everything is one. And their goal is to become one with the Lord. And the goal of the Vaishnava sannyasi is to become one with the Lord in desire, in their body, mind, and words, just dedicate to the Lord.
I hope that answers your question, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very nice explanation, and you explained that Mayavadi things also. So everything is cleared in one hand. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Mataji and Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Champakalata? Okay, we can come back.
Mataji, maybe
Yes.
there's somebody else. I'll come after 2 minutes. The Krishna is crying.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Surid and Spurti?
Mata, Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji, Dandavata Pranam, Prabhupada. I have one question. And if Vishvarupa knew that Nimai was the Supreme Lord, why did he leave home?
Yes, he actually left home because he didn't want to do anything with the material world. And in Chaitanya Bhagavad, yesterday we were reading Vishvarupa. Of course, he is the incarnation of Lord Balaram, of Anantashesh. So in that sense, he knew, but in the manifested pastime that he was giving, he only had an inkling. In the pastime that he was manifesting, he only had a guess that, wow, he's doing such wonderful activities. And, when he passes by, he just looks like Bal Gopal. All his pastimes are like that. And so he had a doubt that could he be Nimai? But his role in his incarnation was to set an example and for other devotees to be a very nice devotee. So he was always in the association of devotees. And then he took sannyas and he set an example in that way. And he delivered so many other people that he met later with his sannyas, including a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. Later, it seems he was initiated by him as well, and he left in Pandharpur in Maharashtra.
Okay, Prabhuji and Mataji, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vita. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Champakalata, is it okay now?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
yes. Mataji, I have this question, Prabhuji. In our culture, they do, of course, it is completely whole different thing, but they also do this thread ceremony for the boys. So I was wondering, like, how it is related with, like, after we trying and aspiring to become devotees. How do we still do it for our little boys, like son, or is it like direct Brahman initiation when Guru Maharaj gives the initiation? How does it work? Because in our culture they say that the boy cannot marry until he has thread ceremony done, or he cannot attend someone's funeral, he cannot go to lot of his own auspicious religious things, he cannot go. So I was wondering, when we try to become devotees, how does this thing work?
It's okay to do, because according to family culture, family traditions, if that is the norm in the family, then that's perfectly fine to do that, Brahman. In fact, as devotees, we can follow the rules and regulations in a much more better way, because generally, otherwise, for just those 3 days, after the Brahman thread is given to the boys, generally, they're following very strictly, they eat only fruits and sweets and all that, and then the 4th day comes, they're out of their room, and it is just a ritual for them, and they're back to their normal duties. But when as devotees, when our boys, especially in Bhaktivedanta Purna Maharaj's Gurukul in Mayapur in Maharaj's Gurukul, young boys are given the Brahman thread. That's without them even, because they are trained to become brahmanas, so they are given this Brahman thread, and just the Brahma Gayatri mantra is given to them, so that they will be able to train as proper brahmanas. Proper brahmanas are Vaishnavas. They are so that they are eligible to do yagyas and different other upacharas that they are doing. They'll be able to enter into the altar for Lord Nrsingadev during their Abhishek. They enter the altar. So when they have that Brahman thread with them, that gives them the adhikar, the qualification to enter into that altar as Gurukul boys, so they just come like that and they can do their ceremonies in that sense. So as devotee families, if that is there in our family culture, in our family tradition, then it's perfectly fine to do it. And as devotees, we will do it in a much more better way, and we'll be able to continue that. And then at a later time, when our child will be ready for actual Harinam initiation and actual Brahman initiation, then they're nicely trained and qualified by that time also, you know. So that's perfectly fine. And sometimes there's some families who think that, no, let my child just, you know, not do all this. We'll just do directly the, you know, Harinam and Brahman initiation through the Guru himself when the child grows up and is following all the rules and regulations. So we find both, but there's no harm in either, you know, no harm.
Okay, so Mataji, yes, Mataji, thank you so much. That's a big help. And so it must be necessary, like you mentioned, Mayapur Gurukul. So isn't it? It must be necessary that they get it done from a ISKCON priest only, because then if we go to our own different cultures and this and that, we don't know what they are speaking, what they mantra they are saying, who they are offering, what they are doing. Because nowadays, like how Prabhupada says in Bhagavatam, everybody becomes Brahman, right, without Brahminical qualification, and
Yeah,
they priest services.
yes.
So I'm wondering, like, what is the right way?
The right way is that you can, you know, of course, you can speak to the local devotees where you are and the temple there. And then that temple, if the brahmacharis, there are some senior devotees there, they can come and help in doing these ceremonies, you know.
But for in ISKCON, the ceremonies that we do is like for a Vaishnava Brahmana, which means we are doing like a Brahmana so that we can go back home, back to Godhead. Here, in many other family traditional things, it's more like it's a caste, because we are in the Brahminical caste, so we will do it. And it's more related to Varnashram system. But in ISKCON, it's more related to Daivi Varnashram system, which means focus is ultimately Krishna. It doesn't matter whether you're a Brahmana, doesn't matter whether you're a Shudra or whatever, as long as you are focusing on Krishna. Now, by doing Brahman initiation, we can do deity worship and chant the Gayatri mantras, which will accelerate our growth. But the Hare Krishna Mahamantra should continue, and that along with Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this Brahmana initiation acts as a catalyst to take us faster. But yeah, whether we do our family tradition, Brahminical poetry or whatever, that's okay. But really, for spiritual emancipation, we need to take, according to the parampara, Gaudiya Vaishnav that we are doing in ISKCON, or any other of the 4 paramparas. And a guru from that parampara needs to feel that you are qualified to take the Brahmin initiation. Then he awards you Brahmin initiation in that. But the purpose is different. It's not like if you do the traditional Brahminical thing in the family, then it's good enough. We can come and do deity worship in ISKCON. No, that's not possible. We'll have to take Brahminical initiation here, even then. So it's not replaceable.
Even in the Gurukul, the boys, Maharaj himself presides over the Brahman ceremony, Brahman thread ceremony for the young boys there. But then when they are actually qualified for Harinam and then later for second initiation, they actually take those vows and, you know, follow the rules and regulations of those actual initiations also. So, you know, both is done in that sense.
Okay, I understand. So this is mostly for our culture, like how if parents are saying, or if whole family
Yes,
is saying that's our culture, we must do it.
yes.
So no harm in
For the
doing it.
society, yeah, and for the society, if it's something that is very essential, then yes, it's no harm
And
in doing it.
and even if we as aspiring devotees do not do it, it is still perfectly fine, right?
It's
We should not
perfectly
feel
yes,
obligated. Suppose we are able to convince our parents or elders that okay, we are okay, we don't, so
yeah,
it's
it's
perfectly
perfectly
fine, right?
fine.
As long as you're chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it should be okay.
Yeah,
And then
Okay.
that's why Prabhupada said that, as you rightly said, that people take Brahmin initiation, but they don't follow. Like they have to do, the sandhyas in their culture, but people don't do that either. So therefore, we first have, by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the mode of goodness starts coming in our mind and habits. And when we are in the mode of goodness, then the Guru says, okay, now you can take second initiation, a Brahmin initiation. Because then you are now Brahmana by quality also, not just by the thread.
Yeah.
Whereas in the earlier one, I don't know if there is any qualification like that you have to be
it's just the age.
in the in the mode of goodness to be able to do that.
Yes, Prabhuji Mataji, thank you so much. And so this ceremony was performed for Nimai, and like you mentioned that he was actually like given Brahman thread and whole ceremony. So how do we understand from the Lord's point of view that but he was not initiated by Guru, right? It was more of a culture thing, was it?
Not at that time, but because Nimai is from a Brahminical family, Jagannath Mishra, the perfect Brahmana. So therefore he had to do that Brahminical, the sacred thread ceremony.
He got initiated much later by Ishvara Puri.
Okay.
So this was according to his family tradition.
But Jagannath Mishra did give him the Gayatri Mantra in his ear.
Yeah, so that's what I heard. So I was going to ask you.
Yeah, this is according to that family tradition.
Got it.
It's according to the family tradition. Yes.
Okay, I understand now. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate your help.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you. So here in the comments, we are just seeing, Keshavi, sorry, we just saw your message. So tomorrow we'll specifically dedicate the Kirtan for your school, for the Touchstone School. And we are extremely thankful to Shama Supriya, who posts this message every single day in the channel, in the comments about the YouTube channel. So we request all of you to kindly help Shama Supriya to help us reach a certain target. So please share this channel and like, share, comment on the videos. That will help us in reaching out to more and more people. So please help us in this way. Please do see the YouTube channel. That's one thing. And the other thing is that also we are thankful to the team of devotees who are helping us in the entire, like we said, in YouTube channels for making the small snippet videos for the Telegram, and also in maintaining the Zoom sessions. So we are thankful to all the devotees for helping in different ways. And we look forward to seeing all of you again on Monday evening, Tuesday morning, India time, Monday evening, US time. We'll see you for the next session of Sri Gauramrita. If there's no more questions, we can end here.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha
kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji Dandavat.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji. Thank you very much for a very